All right, we are back here on the Just End the Suffering podcast, getting ready to talk some NFL schedule here. The league dropped the schedules on Wednesday, the 15th. Joining me, as always, to do our annual NFL schedule breakdown, Nick Fraietta is here, my co host of the Sky Guys podcast. Nick, welcome. How are you?
Doing great. I was just thinking how we're doing this every year, maybe 3 or 4 years, not sure how long.
I think it was
I
the
would love to.
COVID year
Would you
started.
say I think it's three?
COVID year it started.
I think so. Yes, this must be year number five. Wow.
Yeah.
Um, I would love to hear like the ridiculous things we said like those years. Like, yeah, the Giants are going to be great, and they go 3-14. I'd love to hear that stuff. And like looking at the schedule, oh, this is a win, this is a loss. And then we go compare it to what actually happened and see the exact opposite.
Yeah, that's for sure here. And what you guys any general thoughts here on this schedule release? Because once again, like I tracked through the grid that 506 Sports puts together throughout the schedule process. I think right before the quote unquote schedule release, about 90% of the schedule was out.
Yeah, that's just how it is nowadays, right? I mean, in past years, I've come on here and I've said to you, like, oh, I don't like that. But you know what?
They don't care.
In reality, if the show was happening and there were no releases, would you watch it?
I think a decent amount of people would.
Would you?
I might, because I'm a geek for this kind of stuff.
I'd probably tune into it too, but I don't know if they would, if it's really that big a deal.
I think it was a little later in the off season. Maybe they would get more eyeballs because like there's a big gap between the draft and training camp. But I think right now you
Yeah.
might be right where they just don't get as much interest in this than just, oh, here's stuff happening throughout the day, get you hyped up for the schedule.
Well, it's an overrated big deal in that people make such a big deal over the schedule release because they just base it on teams' win percentages last season and say, "Oh, this is a good team, this is a bad team," but like that's not how it works.
Nope.
You need to play the games this year, otherwise, there's no point in the season.
Yeah, because obviously, like what we might think is an easy stretch schedule now might be hard in 4 months.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So we have a lot of ways we can go here. We have the
Let's
locals.
do the local teams first.
All right. Would you
Actually, let's start with week one.
All right, so let's go ahead here. I'm going to put week one up here on the YouTube version. Mike Phillips on YouTube. We have these graphics up here. I've been pulling off of Twitter, so I'm going to share the screen so people can watch week one. So week one stuff to know here. We have the kickoff game Thursday night, September 5th. Ravens Chiefs. That's the main kickoff game here. We have the international game in Sao Paulo, Brazil, with the Packers and the Eagles. That game's only on Peacock. I don't know if you live outside of Philly or Green Bay. We have Fox doubleheader. Brady's first game is Cowboys Browns. That's the 425 games. Other notable games week one here in terms of interest here for the locals. Vikings Giants at 1 o'clock on Fox. We have a lot of divisional games across the board here. Sunday football, Rams Lions, a playoff rematch on NBC, and Aaron Rodgers going back to the Bay for Monday night, week one, Jets 49ers on ESPN ABC. Any thoughts on week one?
Yes, it's funny. Usually, when you ask someone what's their thoughts on week one, they want to go into the good games, right? Right away, I'm looking at that Panthers Saints game, and I'm like, I don't think it could be worse. I don't think you can give me a worse week one game. Now, of course, who cares? There's so many games on. Who cares? I'm not going to watch that one. There's so many other ones, but that one looks pathetically terrible. Can't get over that one. A lot of good ones though. Really excited for the Packer game. The opening game is great. The I want to see the new look Bears.
Yep.
Cowboy Browns looks like a pretty good game in Cleveland. Browns have a great defense. Um, Somehow Denver won 8 games last year. People don't remember that. So like that Denver Seattle game is not nearly as bad as it looks like on paper. The Jets game obviously huge. The Lion game rematch of the playoffs. A lot of good games.
Yeah, I think the 425 is a little weird, but again, they picked the Cowboys. They got the Cowboys on Fox for the first time since 2018 in week one, which is they do the double header thing. They don't try and slant it too much so that one network gets killed in the ratings. But I think for the most part, like they give you must like watch games in all the big spots.
Yeah, what about that 1 o'clock slot?
You got some interesting games in there. You got Steelers, Falcons has some intrigue as well.
Interesting. I mean, both teams made improvements to their teams, and they were not that terrible last year. Like I
Texans.
said, the Bears game is a must watch. The Texans Colts is a really good in division rivalry. You have the in state rivalry, Jacksonville Miami week 1.
That's a sneaky good game, Jacksonville Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun here with this one. And the Giants probably gonna be the lead 1 o'clock game on Fox, I would think, unless they choose to go Pittsburgh.
We will see. We will definitely see.
All right, so that's week one. So that's the whet the appetite here. So you want to go Giants or Jets first?
You choose one of the local teams. You choose.
I think we should do the Giants first. I think the Jet one is more interesting.
All right, let's do it. Let's do the G-Men.
All right, so here are the G men. I'm going to go ahead here and pop this one up here. I'm using the
The
Giant.
100th season of G-Men football.
Yes, so let's go to Giants football here. It's from their Twitter account. So to keep track here, they start out week one against Minnesota at home. Week 2 and 3, a road trip to Washington and Cleveland. Week 4, Thursday night football against the Cowboys. Nick, that's surprising to see the Cowboy game Thursday night.
It is surprising. Last year, the Giants had a lot of primetime games at the beginning of the year.
A lot less this year.
A lot less this year.
Yep. So week 5, they go to Seattle. Week 6,
Well, they do have 3 of their first 8
yeah,
on primetime.
that's really it though.
Yeah, but that's not a little amount.
Yeah,
But I guess that's it. You're all right though. But not really though, because they got the Germany, the Thanksgiving, so they have 5 national games.
Yeah. Week 6 is Sunday night football against the Bengals. That one surprised me when I saw it on the schedule. Week 7, they host the Eagles. Surprised the Saquon Barkley return did not get to prime time.
Yeah, I guess it didn't, huh?
Yeah. Week 8, at the Steelers on Monday night. Week 9 at home Washington. Week 10, Germany for the Panthers. We knew that was coming earlier in the day. Week 11, Tampa at home. Week 12, Cowboys in Dallas on Thanksgiving. Then they host New Orleans and Baltimore back to back at Atlanta against the Colts. Week 17, it could be Saturday or Sunday. And then week 18, the Eagles here. So what do you think about the Giants?
I mean, like I said earlier in the thing, we go through the games and go, that's a win, that's a loss. We have no clue. We have no clue. We have no idea which of these teams, as at this point, is going to be a good team, which one's going to be a bad team. Of course, we have ideas on who's going to be better than who, but looking at the schedule, I know they have one of the hardest strength of schedules based on winning percentage last year, but I don't know if I want to go off that and say that means anything. Like Giants, I think are 5th or 6th in strength of schedule, like worst, like the hardest schedules this year. Number one, the hardest was the Browns, and the easiest was the Falcons. And I don't know. There's not many like
Gimmies.
road trips, so that's good.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they have 2 games in a row on the road except week 2 and 3.
Yeah. I think the thing that would worry me if I'm a Giant fan here, I think like if you're not 2-0 after home Minnesota at Washington here, this stretch of at Cleveland, the short week against Dallas at home, at Seattle, Cincinnati, and Philly can really kill your season.
It can, but like, and I don't want to sound too down in the dumps, but when you say kill the season, like, is the season expected to go anywhere?
I think they hope it's gonna go somewhere.
Well, I don't think there's really much serious thought in it going somewhere. I think they have a pretty good defense, and they're trying to find from some receivers for whoever plays quarterback next year. But really, it's just see if we can get some good receivers this year. I don't think they're really trying to or expecting to win many games.
Yeah, that's for sure here. Although I do think also like interesting here that it's 2 times in 3 years also now Giants Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I remember that one from a couple of years ago. They were good. I mean, they were good that year, so it was a good game. They ended up losing, of course, but um, I don't know. You never know. You look at these games and like. By the way, their road games are actually not bad at all. But you look at these games and you say like, oh, the Giants are playing the Ravens in December. There's no way they win. But like, I don't know if Lamar Jackson is going to get hurt in November. The
Yeah.
Giants beat the Ravens, by the way, in 2022. So who knows?
Yeah, I think the toughest road games they have, honestly, outside of division, I think it's the at Pittsburgh and at Seattle. I think those are the 2 toughest.
Yeah, and you know what though? Like I just said it, but you say it again. Like You never know. You really like. I mean, look at this and say like, oh, they're not going to win in Seattle. Well, why not? Score more points than Seattle does. Guess what? You won.
Yep, it's true here. So I think so. Like I think it's a manageable schedule for the Giants. I don't think it's outrageous.
It's not. I mean, you have to play Philly twice. You have to play Dallas twice. Too bad. Like that sucks. You have to do that every year. And the other games they're playing against the NFC South. Is there a better division in the NFC you'd rather play?
No.
Probably not. No. And then you're playing against the AFC North. That's probably the worst to play in the AFC, right?
Yep.
Maybe you don't want to play the East. I don't know. Depends on a lot of factors in the East, but it could definitely be worse.
Yep. So let's go to the Jets now because the Jet one is fascinating how it's constructed here. You got a chance to look deeper at the Jet one yet?
Yeah, I did.
All right. So here's the Jets. They start out with two in a row on the road. They play Monday night San Francisco, we talked about earlier, week one. They go to Tennessee week two. So they don't get a home game until week three, which is a Thursday night game against the Patriots. So that's an interesting spot there. Denver week four. They go to London week five against the Vikings. Did not opt for their bye after week five. They come home. They play the Bills on Monday Night Football. They go to Pittsburgh on Sunday night, week seven. Week eight, they host New England. Week nine, another primetime game, a second Thursday night game of the year against the Texans on Halloween night. Week 10, the Cardinals on the road. Week 11, another Sunday night game against the Colts at home. Bye week 12. December 1st, Seattle at home. Then they have a two-game trip to Florida, Miami, and Jacksonville. They have the Rams week 16, Buffalo week 17, Miami at home week 18. So, a couple of fun facts for you, Nick, on the Jet schedule, in case you're not aware of these.
Mhm.
Number one, first time in NFL history, a team has gotten 6 primetime games in the first 11 weeks of the season, which the Jets have. They have also multiple.
Yeah. Go ahead, finish your thoughts. Sorry.
Yeah, they also have short weeks going from week one to week two to week three, week 6 to week 7, and then week 8 to week 9. So 4 short weeks the first 9 weeks of the season, also, which is pretty wild.
Well, that kind of stinks.
Yeah, I think this
Um,
schedule.
wait a second.
Yeah,
Monday to Thursday. Where am I? I'm reading the comment on the right. This guy goes Monday night to Thursday night. Where's that?
he's reading it incorrectly.
That's what I figured. Okay.
So you're going straight down. That's probably why he's thinking that way. Because
Yeah, he's looking at 1 and 3.
yes,
Okay, but I mean, right away, the first thing that jumps out to me on this is obviously the primetime games, especially early on in the year, and a lot of them deserve to be primetime. I mean, the Patriots suck, but it's Thursday, whatever. Um, every other game here are pretty good teams, right?
yeah,
Or you at least expect them to be at least decent, all these teams. So it just comes down to last year he lasted 22 seconds. If that happens again, the NFL will be really pissed. They're
yeah,
banking on it, saying it just happened. There's no way it's happening again.
yeah. Because you look at the Jet roster too. Jet roster is better this year than it was last year. So like
It is.
figure if Rodgers staying upright here, like these games will be highly compelling. Although I will note here is interesting here is that while they have all these primetime games, they did not get put in any of the 425 featured games. So like CBS and Fox not having a Jets like leading doubleheader here. Like all the rest of these games are sort of like 1 o'clock windows or like secondary 425 with Arizona.
Yeah, that's just because it's in Arizona. They can't do you can't do a 1 o'clock there.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jets are the Jets are a talented football team. I think we all are aware of that now. We just comes down to whether or not Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy. But you know what? They've at least kind of covered their ass a little bit, bringing in a backup who can do something.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor is here. And also of note here on the schedule in terms of interesting notes here is that like of the 8 Jet home games, 4 of them are in prime time. So those ticket holders gonna have to have a lot of late nights.
Oh wow, wow.
The
Yeah.
only
So you go to MetLife Stadium and during the day you watch the Giants. You go to MetLife Stadium at night, you watch the Jets.
the only home game in their first 5 that is a day game is week 4 against Denver.
I can't believe Denver won 8 games last year.
Yeah, that's insane.
They let up 70 points. Everyone was like, this is over. This is pathetic. They won 8 games. How?
I don't know. Smoke and mirrors. Also of note for the Jets, first time in 8 years they finished season at home when they host Miami Week 18.
You said the first time in 8 years they finish at home?
Yeah, they've only finished at home, I think, like twice since 2010.
I would imagine the Giants finish at home then almost every year.
A lot.
Huh, interesting.
All right, so that's the Jets situation here. If you're not a Jet fan, you might be sick of the Jets by the time like Thanksgiving rolls around. You see a lot of the Jets in featured windows.
I mean, I want to see the Jets. Like whenever Rodgers was playing on the Packers, I wanted to watch the Packers play. So, assuming he's going to be all right from his injury, which everything sounds like things should be fine, especially by then, I want to see that.
Yep. So Jets schedule I think is definitely the more interesting one in terms of like how often they are being featured in these spots.
True, and also like let's not beat around the bush. The Jets' schedule is more interesting because the Jets are more interesting.
Yes. If this was Tyrod Taylor guaranteed to be the quarterback, they would have one primetime game at most.
Right.
All right. So now go to the speaking of primetime. Which one do you want to go to first? Sunday night.
Let's go Thursday.
Thursday's interesting this year because I feel like they did a Amazon a solid here. They gave them a very deep schedule of games. So let's go ahead here because there's a rule now in the Thursday night package where like you can play on a short week more than once, which the NFL abuses here. A lot of division games. You got Bills Dolphins as the kickoff game here. Black Friday
If
game.
you look at this, you look at this, and I'm sorry to interrupt. There's only 3 games, 4 games actually, that are not division games,
Yeah.
and they're week 7, week 8, week 9, and 17.
Yeah.
And 7 is a storyline game.
Yes. 7 is the return of
So
Sean.
like, right, it's sure the return of Sean Payton to New Orleans. So you have a bunch of games here that have like I always say like the Thursday game should be a division game.
Yes.
And like it's cool that it is because it makes those games matter a little bit more instead of seeing, you know, who is it always every I feel like every single we don't see it this year. Every single Thursday game, I feel like the last 5 years has been Tennessee versus Jacksonville.
Yeah.
We don't get that one this year.
Yeah, you do not hear. And of note, like they went really hard on like trying to make sure that they kept like the quote unquote dog teams off of Thursday night because they double up the Jets, they double up the Rams, they double up the 49ers, they double up the Browns, they double up the Bengals, they double up a lot of teams to try and make sure that they got like bigger teams on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, and it's hard to say this now because we don't know who's good and who's not yet, but it looks like it's pretty evenly distributed on who's home versus who's away in terms of the better team. Like for example, week 4, Giants playing Dallas, but you know what? The Giants are home. So a road division game is not easy to do. Like San Fran, Seattle. You'd think San Fran's better, but you know what? You got to travel to Seattle on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
That makes the game a little more exciting in my book.
Yeah. I also think it's a fascinating note because I think when you weigh in also that you have teams like playing like I say Dallas playing twice on short weeks of the season because they had Thanksgiving in there as well. So like I think it's about 9 or 10 teams that are playing 2 short weeks this season.
Yeah, they've made this NFL schedule more than just we play on Sundays and sometimes Thursday and Monday. It's like no, every team's pretty much playing on a day that's not Sunday at least once. They have the Saturday game, Thursday. Now there's a Friday game. Is there a Black Friday game again?
Yeah, it's the Chiefs and the Raiders.
Chiefs and Raiders. Okay, so you have a Black Friday game, you have an opening week Friday game. There's Christmas. There's Thursday. There's Sunday. There's Monday. There's Saturdays at the end of the year. Like it's not just what it used to be.
Yeah, and fun fact about that, the Kansas City Chiefs play on all 6 of those days.
Huh.
The only day they don't play is Tuesday because there's no games on Tuesday this year.
No Tuesday games. I feel like the only time we had that was that 2020 season we were canceling games.
We also had the blizzard one year with Minnesota and Philly on Sunday Night Football. Got snow till Tuesday.
That's right.
It was a fantasy championship was riding on that game. I just want to remember it.
Yep.
All right. Monday night or
Go
Sunday?
to Thursday.
We did Thursday.
I'm sorry. Let's go to Sunday.
All right, so we'll go to Sunday Night Football on NBC here, and this is I feel like a little weaker than we usually get on Sunday night. There are some interesting choices on here. So we have
But I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at all 17 games that have listed here, and obviously the one TBD. Are there any that you look at and go, really? I'm not interested in that one. Like I'm interested in every single one of these games.
I mean, the Bears
What's the
Texas
worst one?
kind of
Which one?
Bears Texas week 2.
That's probably the worst one, right?
Yeah, and depending on your mileage on the Chargers also, because that could be a blowout also.
Yeah, I don't mind these games though. I think they're pretty good.
I feel like they
And I
did.
guess I guess technically the kickoff game in NFL Brazil are the program Sunday Night Football, but obviously they won't be on Sundays.
Yeah, and the Thanksgiving night game is not listed here, but it is also a Sunday football production. It's Packers Dolphins in Green Bay.
Yeah, I have a different I have the graphic up from NBC and it actually shows all three of those games that I mentioned.
Yeah, I went from the NFL's website here, so the NFL's
Yeah.
Twitter. So I think that they also have some massive games in here too. They have Cowboys, Steelers, Cowboys, 49ers got huge rating numbers for them. You have 49ers, Bills could be a Super Bowl preview if all goes according to plan here. The opening game. There's a lot of intrigue here.
I mean, this is I think it's great. I really do. I think a lot of these games are like really, really good. I think week 16 is kind of weird. Although Tampa's underrated. I feel like I look at them and I'm like, oh, Tampa, they're actually pretty good.
They won a playoff game last year, don't forget.
Yeah, I look at Tampa and I'm just like, yeah. But now I think about it and I'm like, oh wait, I'm wrong. Well, Tampa's pretty good. So like I don't know. I mean, a lot of these teams are really, really exciting. I mean, I guess the worst game on here maybe the Bengals and Giants, but I'm kind of biased in that one. Being a Giants fan, I'm excited for it. And then people are down on Cleveland, so that week 7, and people are down on Miami. So that week 17 game, if people are correct to be down on that, I guess it won't be there week 17.
Yeah, and also funny, that Jacksonville made the Sunday football schedule, but they were not good enough for prime.
Huh, look at that.
Yeah, they're in Philly week 9, which could be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're right about week 8, though. Massive numbers there, and week 5 as well.
Yeah, week 4, Buffalo, Baltimore could be a huge one.
Oh yeah, week 13 could be big. Again, another team people are kind of down on is the Bills, but like they've been great. So like being down on them, does that mean they're still good, or does that mean you're so down on them that you don't think they're even good anymore?
I think they're still good, but they're not like as good as they were. Where like they might be
Yeah.
struggling, like they might be more fighting the division tooth and nail again.
Week 10 is like the ultimate new teams getting after it.
Yeah,
Detroit and Houston, the two teams that like kind of came out of nowhere last year.
I'm excited about that game. That looks very exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this list.
All right, so let's stop this one here. Let's go to Monday Night Football. You know, close out the primetime packages. So
So what I noticed right away looking at Monday, there are a lot of Monday games,
there's a lot of double headers.
a lot of doubleheaders.
Yeah,
We
so
have what, 5 doubleheaders?
yeah, I'm pulling.
4. No, 5.
You got
Week
one,
3,
two,
week 4,
three.
week 7, week 15, and week 18.
Yeah, but
Well, week 18 not really because that's Saturday, but still.
week 18 they always have that, but like there's a lot of
Yeah.
Monday night games. There's ESPN Plus exclusive game on October 21st between the Chargers and the Cardinals.
Well, luckily I have ESPN Plus.
Well, I mean, you're gonna be watching that game over Bucks Ravens.
I'll have them both on.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about the Monday night schedule, I feel like there are some big names in here for sure, but this feels like the weakest of the free packages prime time because they had to fill so many slots.
Yeah, how do you feel about these exclusive games with the streaming platforms?
I mean, I think it has to be over the air in the local market, but like, think it's just more of like the NFL's trying to get you to spend more money on these services because they're getting people to buy the games. Saying, "Oh, here you go."
They are. I just think, hopefully, maybe I'm wrong about this, but hopefully this leads to an era where eventually someone just puts the money down and all these games are on streaming platforms. I don't know how that could be decades away from now, but like then the point where we don't need television anymore. We just turn on Netflix and watch the Giants.
Yeah.
But I know these TV contracts are insane, so I don't think I'm not counting on that.
Yeah, I think in terms of the best games on here, I think both games the Jets are in are very interesting. You got the 49 game week 1, the Bill game week 6. You got the NFC Championship rematch week 17. That's a lot of fun here. And the Battle of Texas week 11.
So I was listening to a podcast earlier that was talking about the schedule and how you shouldn't look at it at face value. You shouldn't take it at face value or you should take it at face value because you never know what's going to happen in terms of Aaron Rodgers, right? Like that was a good example, like what happened last year. He's like, you think you have some great game, then all of a sudden he gets hurt. People forget the Jets won that game.
Yes, they did.
A lot of people forget the Jets won that game anyway. But the game that jumps out to me immediately on this schedule that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see that game is week 1, of course, but also the end, week 17.
Yeah. It starts strong.
That's the week 17 is the rematch of the NFC Championship game, Lions Niners.
Yeah. That's going to be a huge game.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're assuming both of those teams. I know the Lions win totals at 10.5. I'm not sure what the Niners is, but it must be high.
Yeah.
I don't know. So you're expecting both of these teams to be either division winners at the very least high wild cards. So let's see.
Yeah. Another fun note here. Jaguars and Titans both made Monday Night Football, but not good enough for Thursday Night Football. Even though although they're both in the mix for doubleheader weeks, where I think they're on ESPN, the other game's on ABC.
Yeah, and there's two teams that have been showing up on all of these lists that we haven't talked about. One of them's obvious why they're showing up. It's the Falcons. I mean, it's just very obvious why they're there because
Kirk.
I think they're a really good team that just needed a quarterback, and it looks like they got. But now they have two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They decided to take another one, but and this team that I'm about to bring up, it's pretty obvious why they're there as well. But Cincinnati's been showing up everywhere.
You are excited for Burrow coming back.
People are excited, and they should be. I mean, this is don't forget this is the team that made the Super Bowl just 2 years ago.
Yep. And another one I'll point out has been popping up a lot also, the Houston Texans, because people are very pumped about what they did last year.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. The Texans were a surprise team last year. Stroud looked amazing, and then they said, "You know what? Let's do it." And they went all in. They brought in a bunch of pieces.
Yeah. I will also point out here, I know like we've talked in the past about like they did a pretty decent job with the whole like trying to avoid the obvious dog games. Like last year with Bears Chargers was like an obvious, like, why the hell am I gonna watch this game on Sunday Night Football? I will say if you have Cardinals Chargers on the Monday night screen and you're not a fan of either team, like please go touch grass.
Yeah, that's a if you're choosing like if you have both games on, it's fantasy, whatever, I get it, but don't watch just that game. At least watch the other one with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, like that's a touch grass game if I've ever seen one.
That's what you said. That's your new line, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely touch grass. You're watching that game. And I would say Cleveland, Denver falls in that category too.
Cleveland, Denver. Yeah, well, I mean, apparently the Broncos won 8 games last year, and Sean Payton didn't like his quarterbacks, so you would only assume they win more now, right?
Oh yeah. They got Bo Nix or Zach Wilson playing quarterback this year. It's gonna go fantastic.
It just doesn't add up to me. But somehow this team won 8 games with a coach who hated his quarterback and a team that let up 70 points in a game. Somehow won 8 games. I do not understand it.
Yeah, I don't understand either here. So we'll wrap up quick a couple of things here. Thanksgiving, just to sort of touch on that one real quick here. Not put the graphic up, but Bears Lions, the first game, Giants Cowboys talked about already, Dolphins Packers in that game. So this is okay.
That's a good Thanksgiving. Usually you get a bad Lion game,
Yeah.
and you get like a Washington Packer game that I don't care about, and that night game is usually pretty good. This is good. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean the Giants probably the weakest link of the Thanksgiving teams, but like it's a rivalry and they might play close.
Yeah, yeah. It's just as you know, it's obviously in Dallas, so it's tough. I mean, I have no idea the last time the Giants won in Dallas.
Yeah, I think the thing people do not realize of Thanksgiving scheduling, aside from that night game, is that like especially those first two games, the Detroit game and the Dallas game. Those are things that people have tuned on out of habit. So they're not going to go out of their way and give you a great opponent for either team unless they have to. Because, like, if Dallas or Detroit was bad, I might give you a good team in there just to get the eyeballs. But, like, if people are going to say, oh, it's 12:30, I got to turn the Detroit game on, it doesn't really matter who's there because people can still watch the game anyway.
Right, right. Let's see if you know. The last time the Giants beat the Cowboys in Dallas. Take a guess.
I'm going to say 2017.
Very close. Remember how bad the Giants were in 2017, though? It was 2016.
I was thinking of this, right? I think like somebody was hurt that year for the Cowboys, also, if I remember correctly.
Tony Romo.
It might have been Tony Romo.
No, but the Cowboys were really good that year in 2016.
Yeah, the Giants still won that game though in Dallas.
Yeah, the Cowboys were really good. That's why that was Dak and Elliott's first year.
Yeah, that's for sure here. And the big surprise, Christmas on Netflix for the NFL. We get two games here that are played basically a Saturday or Wednesday turnarounds for these teams here. Chiefs Steelers at 1, Ravens Texans at 4:30 here. So first of all, how shocked are you to hear that we got now you need your Netflix subscription for NFL?
Sorry, I lost the mute button there, but yeah, I mean, I have all these subscriptions, so I don't mind, but I can see people in the older generation, people who don't have these subscriptions being a little pissed off, and I wouldn't blame them. But good games though.
I mean, this is Netflix's first ever NFL like setup here, so I'm sure they wanted to give them good games.
Yeah, yeah, I'm very excited though. I mean, like, you know, there really is there's not many teams in the league right now that people are very low on.
Yeah,
And I think that's a little concerning.
I think there's like
If you look around the NFL, like the vast majority of the teams, people have upside on, and they're like, oh, they're pretty good because of this. They're pretty good because of this. Like someone's got to lose games.
yeah, I think I count on one hand the number of teams that are people are down here. I think it's the Patriots. I want to say it's the Titans, the Cardinals, the Panthers, and maybe the Broncos you throw in there.
Throw in the Giants,
Chargers.
maybe the Raiders, but like it's the list is less than 10 teams people think are bad, and that's
Somebody's
not
gonna be bad that you don't think.
right. It's not right. Like there needs to like the teams play. Someone needs to lose.
Yeah, plus the injuries will impact this as well.
I'm going to count. I counted 9 teams that people are down on out of 32.
Yeah.
Trust me, there'll be more than 9 teams that don't make the playoffs.
Yep. Plus, in terms of the Christmas games here, this is the opposite of Thanksgiving where they're trying to build viewing habits where it's tell people, oh, Christmas matters in the NFL now, as opposed to like the NBA, where it's been an NBA holiday forever.
Yeah,
But
so let me just ask you a question. You being like more like the TV guy here. Does the NBA, first off, they're extremely pissed at this, right?
I'm sure they're very pissed this has been
And
happening.
do they have no say? Like they can't lock it down somehow?
They can only do what they can, or they have contracts with, because if even ESPN does the NBA games, they can't stop like Netflix or NBC or whoever from broadcasting an NFL game.
And to be fair, like the NBA Christmas is just never gonna be exciting considering like I like the NBA and I love the NBA playoffs. It's so exciting, but a game in December in the regular season, like, oh, come watch the Celtics play the Knicks in the Garden. Like, who cares? The Knicks can lose by 40. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think probably though it's the casual audience are like, oh, the NBA's here.
Right. It's just you know what I'm trying to say is just regular season basketball.
Yeah. I think that's why they try and put the big teams on for Christmas, whereas the Knicks are there every year.
Oh yeah, it's always the Knicks, the Celtics, the Lakers, the Nuggets, and the Heat. Always, every year.
Yeah, like the big boys are always playing.
Dallas.
Yeah. The big boys and the stars. That's basically what you're looking at.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think overall, I think they did a pretty solid job with this. There's a lot fewer games where you're looking at it like going like shuddering in terms of like I have to turn like this is prime time my only option. I think they did a much better job balancing it out.
Yeah, the only games that you look at and say, "Oh, this is the primetime game," they're in the double headers. You just don't have to watch it.
Yeah, or maybe that Bear Texan game on Sunday Night Football week 2. But even again, he's got an exciting Texan team, the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah, and the Bears are a new look team, right? Like they could be good. They're a completely different team.
Yeah,
So I'm excited for that.
I'm excited too. Nick, thanks for all the time coming on here. Really appreciate it. People want to keep up with what we're doing over the Sky Guys podcast. How can we do that?
They could follow at Sky Guys Podcast on Instagram and Twitter and Threads and TikTok, and they can just follow the podcast everywhere that you follow this podcast.
Yeah, over there this week we got a fun episode. We're going to explain the High Republic to you guys and tell you like what you need to know ahead of the acolyte about this multimedia project Star Wars has done.
Yeah, to be clear, you are going to explain it, and I'm going to pretty much just listen.
Yeah, we're going to discuss it.
Yeah.
And next week in this feed, we'll give you an exclusive announcement here before the end of the show. Like, there will not be a sports episode next week. It's going to be the Acolyte Season 1 preview is going to drop. It'll be a feed drop from Sky Guys for the Memorial Day weekend episode.
Ooh, making my way over to this feed. Awesome.
Yeah, so 2 weeks in a row, Nick will be here.
Right.
All right, Nick, thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.